Hello, and welcome to our one and only episode of the Name-Manta Podcast. I am David Barrera, joined with.
I am Felipe Torres.
All right. So, Felipe, what are, what's like the
What are we going to
most,
discuss?
yeah, what are we gonna discuss?
Uh, well, first, I heard that you're making a comic.
Yes, sir, I am doing that. Well, I'm making two, but I'm mostly focusing on one for now.
That's pretty
Eh,
cool. You got any favorite stories? And what inspired you to make comics?
Oh, um, you know, I, I, I like, I kind of like imagining about stories, every once in a while, like you see something, like, what if, what if it was like, what if this was like with this,
You're
like
talking about
crossovers,
what if
like,
stories?
yeah, like, and sort of crossovers, like, sometimes when you see like, oh, what if Superman fought freaking, I don't know, the Hulk or something,
I see.
and then like you start to like, m but you don't want to like, use them, so you just like make up your own characters and whatnot and just wing it from there, right?
I also have those thoughts too. What would
Yeah,
happen if this character goes up against this character? Or
yeah,
like putting a certain character in a certain situation,
yeah.
like for instance, there was this one show called anime there was this one show in anime called Parasite, uh
I,
and basically, it reminded me a lot of about Venom. How there was a
yeah.
parasite, and it needed a host, and it just reminded me a lot about Venom. And I just thought, what if instead of that character, what if you put Venom into a high school kid?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, and then
that actually sounds
yeah, and then I
you
also
know I oh, continue.
also imagine, like, what if Venom were and his host were on a road trip, you know? And
Yeah.
then I don't know, it's just like, or like simple stories like that. Or what if like a Marvel character was, I don't know, like went up against saw the horrors of a different world, like being transported into like a hell, or like certain characters being
Hellscape.
over in their head. Yeah, so back to Venom and the things. I always imagine Venom like being in those types of situations that don't really require like big states, but more like simple tasks.
Venom is a very interesting and, very popular character. You constantly see him in crossovers and all these Marvel comics, like, oh, Venom infects Captain Marvel. Oh, Venom infects the Wolverine. Oh, Venom infects Daredevil. And he's just a really interesting character,
Yeah,
and
he's very adaptable. Like he can basically go to like any story, and like it should be fine. Like it wouldn't be good, but it just be fine.
you know, speaking of Venom, the one of my one of the primary sort of characters, air quotes, is kind of that I have in one of my stories. I call him Angler, but he's just a Venom ripoff mostly.
Yeah.
And I started wondering, like, or no, yeah, I started thinking, I really like Venom, but I really hate how he can just ditch off of one person and go to someone else. So what if two people needed? what if a guy needed him to survive? Like he was part of his like blood and whatnot, and like if they were separated for too long, like they'd one of them would die. One of them would die, and soon after the other one. So and that kind of started. That was kind of the baseline for the one of the mainline comics I'm doing right now.
Like a Kirsten, like
Like what?
uh like a Kirsten, like before I met you, my life was fine, but after I met you, I am now
Uh,
dependent on you.
mm, not exactly. Well, all right. Let me get into the lore of what I'm doing. So back when, let's call him Tim. Tim was really young. He was an experiment, and he got fused to Angler, and now they're stuck in one another.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I wanted to draw a character that I too wanted to see. How do I explain this? Basically, I watched Persona, and then I liked the main character's coat. I thought it looked flashy. It also reminded me of Bane. You know how Bane's coat in The Dark Knight
Yeah.
Rises? Yeah, it has like
Yeah.
that fur, that frilly coat. And then I thought about
Yeah.
it, and I thought about it more, and then I like those types of coats, and then I just imagined a anti-hero, an anti, like, I don't know, he's more evil than good, uh, and that mixed in with the Dr. Plague Mask. There's this Russian movie coming out. It's called Doctor Gloom, and in that movie, the Gloom, yeah, and in that movie, like he has the mask of my character, well, the
Yeah.
avatar, and
Oh,
he has like flame. Yeah, he's like the anti-hero. Like in the movie, they call him like the new Robin. The Yeah, Robin. Robin Hood.
oh,
Yes, they call him the new Robin Hood. He targets rich people. And then the protagonist of that movie tries to capture him. And I just thought about, like, man, like, what a cool character. Like that's exactly what I was thinking. I was thinking about like an anti-hero wearing a plague mask, having weaponaries. I just thought that was really cool.
yeah. Yeah. So I assume that's why you have like your little guy as a plague mask, right?
Yeah, yeah. It started as a joke, like, hey, we're living in worst times of the life. I was like, hey, but you remember about the plague, the Black Plague? Remember
Yeah.
that? Started as a
Yeah,
joke, but I just use that as my avatar now.
I see. Plague mask. So you for this imaginary character, do you have a name for him, or do you just
No, he's just
imagine him?
named. No, he's just
Taken.
nameless. I don't know.
Oh, I thought it
I,
was
f-
gonna be name taken.
I don't know. It could be like he could be under an alias, like like, I don't know, the unknown masked person. No, but I also do imagine him with his own clique, his own group. Like the story that I come up with is that he lives in a very bad part of town, or very bad part of city. He takes requests. It's almost like he's an assassin, but not
A
quite.
mercenary.
Yeah, mercenary. That's a better term. Yeah, and like they hire him out, but he doesn't talk very much, but he is very good at his job. If it's to assassinate somebody, he'll do it flawlessly. But he does take issue with targeting certain types of people,
Like
and within that
innocence.
case, well, not innocents. He'll kill anybody who sees him. It's like children, mostly children. He's very fond of children and certain animals. But he also lives with a group of people who I want to say like underlings, like maybe apprenticeships. That's a better term for it. They're learning under him, because he knows that one day that he is going to die, and then
Huh?
like one day he's gonna die. Like he knows that either from the people he killed or from a mission he's gonna carry out. And then he basically tries to train them as well as he can. And one of his apprenticeship, he can't, because the my main character, he abandons his humanity. He abandoned most of his humanity. He's just a tool to those who hire him. But for one of his apprenticeship, they just can't seem to throw away that type of humanity. They still how do I say it? Uh,
They still like hold on or no?
resist, resist. They still resist, like his teachings. Trying to figure out like a more
Trying
better,
to get out of like that cycle of
yeah, of killing
uh
and intent. But then, the main character also says that, it doesn't matter whatever you do, because there is no good or evil in this world, because it's all about perspectives. If you try to take vengeance on somebody, and if that person has somebody close to him, then you are not seen as a hero. You are seen as a evil entity, and they might as well take vengeance on you. But to others, you might seem like a hero. It's and he just says that there is no point in being good or evil, because just at the end of the day, you're just a living person. You're just making actions based on what you believe in. So there is no point in just trying to be good or evil.
I see. Well, that was a bit deeper than I originally anticipated, not gonna lie.
Yeah, no, but I
Yeah.
don't know. Sometimes I want to make like a light novel. Sometimes I just
Yeah.
want to like sit down and just write, but then again, I don't know how to properly write this character. You
Uh
know,
my advice, well, if you want to do it, just start just start and cuz eventually you're going to keep getting through the stuff and you're going to all right, so my creative process is if you're making a plot or if you're just winging it and just typing out a story and coming up with stuff as you go along, just go for it because ultimately ultimately you, your first story isn't gonna be that good. I can tell you from firsthand experience. You look back and you're like, ugh, what? Why is he like that? Oh God, no, that's not how this is supposed to be. And just just do it, and you're gonna over time you're gonna find come up with stuff. Cause truth be told, I kind of I'm not as much of a artist as I am a writer. You've seen my art, and it's not that good, but I just like writing. It's just that I personally don't like reading, so that's why I go with comics and just start writing and you'll just discover things and yeah, that's what I do. Does that make sense?
so just dive into it
Yeah, just dive into it and you'll just
and do your
you'll
best.
just you'll just come up with stuff and things will start aligning, and obviously there's gonna be a lot of times where you look back and it's like, but just go for it. That's what I say, you know?
Yeah, I get you.
Uh, so anyways, what kind of story or what kind of things have kind of inspired like these ideas, you know?
I think the first anti-hero movie that inspired this was Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance, to be more clear.
The one with
I
Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, the second movie, the reboot. Yeah, I like that movie a lot. Not because of the acting or the plot; those were all pretty bad. They were really terrible. But the action scene, like there's this one
But
scene
like,
where like he went over when he went over to like a chain. It was like I don't know. It was like this big
oh,
mechanical machine. Do you know
I
what
think
I'm
I
talking about?
know.
Yeah, and like
I have like vague memories of it. Yeah.
yeah, my favorite part of it was when he crushed the mercenaries, and he just laughed. Like it was like that very creepy laugh, and I just liked it because he's in the comics. He's a fallen angel, I believe. Like he can only be
Yeah.
taken down by holy weapons, and none of these people had any of that. So he's just enjoying himself by just laughing and causing the destruction. And the final part of that scene was when he grabbed one of the leaders. He grabbed the leader, and he repeated a word. He repeated a phrase that he told Ghost Rider after he shot him with a rocket. It was, "I'm sorry. Does that hurt? It looks like it does." And that was just like
Yeah.
very chilling. I was like, man, like he just owned you.
Yeah. So, I'm guessing. I'm guessing like you're kind of going as I can say this, like you're kind of going as like a badass kind of hero, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm definitely going to like that route because I find those characters a lot more enjoyable. You know, but it's not also that. I also try to, I want to make my characters' motives, understandable, even though if it's a bit cliche. Like in Watch Dogs. I'm not sure if you played the game, but in Watch Dogs 1,
Uh, I'm like I got like halfway through Watch Dogs. No, I haven't Watch Dogs the original.
yeah, so in that game, like, his motive was that, like, his niece died, so he was looking for a way to avenge her, for the people that caused her death. And like
Oh, you
his
just
motive makes
disconnected for me.
sense. Oh, my back. Hello?
I disconnected for a second.
Oh, okay. So, and like his like he doesn't like he's very badass. Like he is very cool in everything he does. His stealth is amazing. The way he speaks. Like at the end, how like every hero was like, who has vengeance. Like after I killed that person, I felt nothing. I felt,
Yeah,
it didn't like, bring the happiness I thought it would. But with this character, he repeated, he like mocked that statement. He was like, every hero says that they feel emptiness, that they don't feel relief after they took vengeance, but that's not the case for me. It feels like a weight has been lifted off of my chest. He's satisfied with his vengeance. Like he's satisfied with the actions that he took. And that's just very cool to me. you know it's like breaking that stereotype of how, like, not breaking it stereotype, but like just like vengeance is bad, vengeance you shouldn't do it because it won't be
like
fulfilling. But for him, it's
like he
fulfilling.
he takes the cliche and like slaps it in the face, right?
Yeah, it's like this shouldn't be fulfilling, but it is. It is fulfilling. Taking this vengeance was fulfilling for him. You know, and that's just
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, I think our other characters come in mind, like Venom, that whole duo between like the passive and then the aggressor. I think that's pretty cool too. Um, overpowered characters, like Ghost Rider, for instance. I feel like, and like if he was introduced in the MCU properly and not in Agents of Shield, I feel like he would become very OP. So
Yeah.
it's understandable why he isn't there. But
Yeah.
I just like those types of characters. Daredevil, also the Punisher, is another cool hero that I also admire.
Oh man. You know, you know what you should read now that you're talking about this?
What?
Have you heard of the manga Berserk?
Mango Berserk. You mean Berserk, the manga?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard it has an anime adaptation, but that is very terrible. It's not like in the
Uh,
manga.
yeah.
Yeah,
All
I've heard
right.
about
Yeah,
it.
yeah, it's me personally, I think I got spoiled because there's like uh all right. The main protagonist whose name is Guts, he's one of the he's like one of those edgy dudes, like nothing personal kid and whatnot, but like 2 volumes in, you get to understand why the way he is. Like he was he was he was born from from his mother who was hanged, and when you see the panel, you can see that the umbilical cord is still attached and whatnot. And it's like, that's so screwed. And like it goes, you go through his life and all this stuff, and like you see what happens, and some of this stuff I can't even say. So yeah, and then at a certain point, something happens, and it's terrible. It's terrible. I'm just gonna say that. I think you should read it, and you know, and it's just this really, it's visceral, but at the same time, it's so satisfying. Like, or it's such a good read. Like you get attached to a bunch of characters, and but at the same time, like it can get depressing, but it's hopeful. You need to read it. I'll I'll probably give you a link after this is over.
Oh, okay, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Oh, in that time, well, if it's not about like him, doing that, have you seen like the anime Arifureta from Commonplace to World's Strongest?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so it's just about this main character about who he got trapped like deep inside of a dungeon because he was betrayed by one of his comrades, and like he knows who betrayed him. He pieced it together as he spent his time down there. And then like after a few days, well, after a few like like couple like months of spending time there, he comes back like overpowered as hell. He and then he comes back to rescue his comrades who was in trouble. He was this weak person who became strong.
Grew. Yeah.
Yeah, who became strong and OP. But the thing is, it's
Yeah.
so sad. He doesn't want revenge. He just wants to go home.
Ah, I see.
Like
You
he, like
said he
he.
was a prisoner?
No, he wasn't a prisoner. He was taken from his home because he possessed
Oh, okay.
magical abilities. And then, but after experiencing all of this war and learning the history about, what is going on and what happened before, he just wants to go back home. He wants to go back to his peaceful life. and that's where like the show is gonna start in season where he travels to find a way to get out of here.
Nice. Oh man,
Yeah, it's a good anime. It's very like action. Yeah, I would say that it's
action,
very packed. Yeah.
of course. Hmm. All right. So what else? What else? Um, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Um. Oh yeah, the design of your characters. Are you drawing them?
Uh, yes. Okay. I was really hoping we could talk about that. All right. So
Yeah. Do you draw them
um,
or you just write them?
I write them and I try my best to draw them, but I can't figure it out sometimes. So the main the main lead, who for the longest time I didn't know what his name would be or what his face would be, but uh, so but way back in 27, way back in 2017, you know, uh, there was the movie Logan came out, and I love that movie, and 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 sometime beforehand, I was just we were cleaning out the garage, and I came across like one of my brother's old motorcycle helmets, and there was the and on one side there was like a skull that was like fading away, like at the end of Infinity War, and I thought that was kind of really cool. And then I just imagined this guy like with Venom's powers, and he has like a leather jacket on, like strong leather, and with motorcycle gloves and boots and whatnot. And then sometime later, I wa- I was going through old Mortal Kombat X, and you played Mortal Kombat, or you at least know about Mortal Kombat X.
Yes, yes I do.
And there's this one character that I forgot their name, but they're like actually two characters, and like one there's like he has like this little boy on top of him, and like he has like these two blades that curve and you can like switch them and they turn normal. You know what I'm talking about?
Hmm. Was it a DLC character?
No, I don't think so.
Uh. Hmm.
Ferritor, that's the one I'm
Oh
thinking
yeah,
about.
Ferritor.
Yeah, how Farah has like those blades that curve backwards, and like she can. Oh, it's a she, and she can like she can. I don't know what's the word is, but she can like flip them to the other side, and I decided to put that, like, those little forearm blades there too. And and at some other point I played Mad Max, the video game, and he has like knuckle dusters and forearm protection, and like made out of screws and metal, and stuff you'd find in like a garage. And I thought that would be cool. Like this guy is probably a guy who isn't smart on like how to creating technology, but like he could be like a he could be like a mechanical engineer or something. Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
since at at one point, like he was really. I decided like, oh, he's like this really good, strong guy who can regrow. He can heal people, and I thought, no, that's way too overpowered. So I just, so I just scaled it back and decided, you know what? All he can do is heal himself and kind of squirt out a tentacle from a little gash he has in his body, and to replace and I kind of wanted him like a mixture, like to fight like Batman and like Batman, like the Batman video games where like he's hiding high above where nobody can see him, and like they s- and like he slowly picks them apart one by one, and eventually at some point one of them realizes, or yeah, you get what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yes, I do.
Okay. Yeah, because I didn't mention like his fighting style for a second. Like there's a whole group of people in a warehouse, and like he slowly picks them apart one at a time, and then somebody notices that there's like, oh, there's less people than there was here, and like they slowly start freaking out, and like yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah. And and all right,
This.
for the story, for he also has like a different version of himself where like he's part of a team, and like they're all based on different types of rhino beetles, and like you know I decided like, and I was just going through pictures of atlas beetle, or pictures of rhino beetles, and then I came across an atlas beetle, and that was, you've seen that one post I have where it's like this one dude and he's got three horns, right?
Uh. Let me see.
It was a while ago now that I'm thinking about it.
Uh.
But I thought that was cool, so I made like a whole team. I tried drawing like a whole team of people, and like they had different, like sort of Batman-y suits, but with like instead of two ears, like they have different types of horns that are in the shape of rhino beetles, and like they don't have like the little unprotected mouth and all that stuff. Uh, and yeah, that's what I got for like character and whatnot.
For for my character, I I want to make things for him to be versatile. You know, try not to make tools that he has very specific. You know, let's say going back for like the gauntlets. You know, I would imagine like on his forearm, I would imagine it to be able to like stop a like if he was attacked by a knife, that it wouldn't pierce his forearm, that he would use it almost as a shield. You know, things like that.
Like
You
a
know, or like
like a like it folds in and then like pops back out
no,
thing.
like like Wonder Woman bracelets.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah, like that. Just simple, simple. But I also imagine him, with a hidden blade, but instead of like on his wrist, like underneath, it would be on top of his hand. That would also like be on his left arm.
Yeah, like in one of those. Yeah, okay. I
Yeah,
get what you're saying.
yeah, and then this is and also this give me an idea too. But in uh, Hunter x Hunter, there was this comment about this one character where it's like you wear baggy clothes. That always means you have a secret weapon inside of it, or you have a trump card. You know, if you're wearing baggy clothes, you probably have something hidden. So I'm like, well, my character, he has a trench coat, or like a toe. And I was just
Yeah,
thinking maybe like he should have like weapons around his body,
yeah,
like a knife in his
like
foot,
yeah,
or
and like
sorry,
something.
go.
No, no, yeah, yeah. No, you go. You were talking.
Yeah, and then or like this one scene where in Batman versus Red Hood, at the animated version of it, Batman, he has like a fire starter in his gloves, and like Robin commented like we're just a bunch of walking armories. I just thought maybe my character could have something like that. Something versatile, something that could start a fire or like smoke bombs to get away, because his fighting style is mostly hand-to-hand combat with knife and just certain types of guns. Not all guns, per se. He has trouble with handling like range guns like rifles, but he is good
Yeah,
with pistols, and he prefers mobility over
over.
strength
He's not a
or
he's not a tank, is what you're saying, right?
yeah, he prefers to fight dirty. He'll use any dirty trick to use, and he'll like let's say if a convoy was coming through through a certain road, he would like set up traps beforehand and then attack. He's an analyst and
Yeah.
a strategist, and he'll use and in this character, he doesn't have any honor, so he'll use whatever trick to win, to get the upper hand. And I was just thinking, what if like he has like a knife that that could basically slash through almost anything. Or what if he has and he laces it with poison, with slow acting
Yeah.
poison. Like you just slice him, like you just cut him just with one cut, and then he just retreats, and then that's it. And then in a few minutes he'll die of poison. That's the type of
Uh,
character that I was thinking. You know, it's like
yeah.
get in and get out.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Well,
my
what kind of? Oh, continue.
yeah, my character's like I base it off of Batman, like his tools and his fighting style, bases off on that. And then I decided to use like Punisher's attitude. His
Mm-hmm.
Punisher's attitude is like very like cool and like very serious. He kills person without hesitation. He kills people. He doesn't save them. He doesn't talk to them. Just shoots them and gets done with it.
Yeah. Well, what's like the setting and like what kind the setting and like the time period that you have in store for this?
Well, first I imagined here's a funny story. I imagined an assassin who died and then gets reincarnated into a different world, full of magic.
Oh,
Typical Isaki anime. But then I realized that there was already like a light novel or manga based off of that premise, and it's gonna be made into an anime. And I just thought, oh, wonderful timing. But for this character, I decided to just made it in modern time, in modern time. But you know, uh, he's like in a very bad part of city. He had to like when he was very young, he had to survive on his own. He doesn't even have a name, because for the longest time he's always been alone and trying to survive by himself.
yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, yeah,
So
it's
you
like modern
so
time. Yeah, go.
modern time, but
But how
so
should I say it? Like in a dictatorship city. Well, not like in a city, but like in a
in like
specific
a
country.
yeah, okay. So this was something I struggled with at first, but uh what what kind of? do you have any idea for like side characters? Because a main character is only as interesting as how he
So,
interacts with other characters. Do you have any side
yeah,
characters,
so
or how they might interact with this one person, like for this one time?
I think like well, first I feel like people wouldn't won't get his ways, like wouldn't understand why he's acting like this. Uh, and then I would also like introduce a female character that is not a love interest
Okay.
because or more like a companion, like a friend. Because I just want because every well, the majority of these stories they always have like that friend that's like, oh, will they date or not? But for this story, I just wanted to be known like like she cares about him deeply and he cares about her deeply, but they would not be in a romantic relationship. They would just be seen more as comrades. You know, uh, yeah, I would just assume so. And I would assume like this character would only look out for himself. If there were any tagalongs, he would probably disregard them, and people would probably hate him. And then
So,
yeah, I would like write him mostly as a hateable character among the
yes.
story.
Yeah. So I'm guessing as he, like that lady character, like, like at first they end up sort of hating each other, but then they grow to respect each other.
Yeah, yeah,
Or or are
yeah,
you
like that
going
type
or are
of
you going
story.
at it for a different route?
Yeah, mostly like that storyline. You know, they both respect each other. They both have you know, they both respect their ways. Even though they can't see eye to eye, they will disrespect each other. A lot of the times, they will still have respect. They will understand why she's like that, why he's like that, and maybe if that happens, then maybe he can open up a bit, but just like a slight bit. You know,
Yeah. So
yeah, and then like
I'm I was I was going for something like that, but the way I write my guy, I was thinking like at at first I didn't know how to write his younger years because I didn't, I don't want to write traumatic events, but at the same, I don't want to write traumatic events because like I don't know how it's like to be, like abused or like in a freaking authoritarian country or something, or what it's like to be an assassin at a young age. So
yeah, that's like the thing about this is that you don't know how they
I
would
just
feel.
I don't know if this is a yeah, yeah,
You don't know
but
if this
as
makes sense.
I I don't. This is something. Yeah, this is something I'm kind of afraid of doing if I ever release my comic. At first, I want him to be like a happy-go-lucky guy, but like something bad happens, which leads to like a something worse happening, and something worse happening, something worse happening, and now he's all of a sudden this terrible guy, and but then he ends up seeing like he ends up coming across a whole bunch of people, and like slowly he realizes, the world ain't such a bad place. But if I do ever go that route, I'm worried like, because here's the thing, I don't think I'm gonna get much of a big following. But if I ever do, like, if I ever do, like, would that be a good choice?
Well, in my opinion, that would be like a safe route because many stories follow that. Many stories like this happy child is wonderful, but then something traumatic happened, which changed his outlook on life. And then something good happens again, and then he's like, it's very typical. It's very safe, you know. But because of that, uh, because it's general, you could also add a lot of tropes. You could add a lot of funny moments to that story,
Yeah,
you know.
comedic relief and whatnot.
Yeah, so I think it's good, you know. It just depends on like on your views about it. If
Yeah,
you were just
because
strictly gonna like make it that that basic storyline, then it would be very saturated. That's what I was trying to do. Because it's a very people have done that many times. They want something new. They want something new. But there's also people like me who enjoy those types of storyline because you know what to expect, and also it's pretty freaking hilarious to watch or read them.
yeah,
So yeah, it just depends on what audience you're trying to go for. If you're
yeah,
satisfied with the work and you feel like what, this is a good piece of work that I did, and if other people enjoy it, then that's okay, but
yeah.
that's my view on it. If you're trying to go for something else, then you should work towards that goal to however you please.
Hmm. That's an interesting take on that.
Yeah, for me, if I were to write a story, I would go the opposite way. I would try to make this not I would try to make this unpredictable, basically. Let's say you have like a favorite long time character. Boom, he's dead. Spend a couple of chapters over his death, and then he just goes through the same route. Because that plot armor, the plot armor that everybody makes fun of. Yeah, I would like just like that would not exist in this story if I was gonna create it. I would try to basically break every single rule you're supposed to have.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's like my view. That's like my view of how the story I want to go, of the route, if I was gonna take it.
So do you have an outline of the story, or do you just or is it just something that just comes up in your head once in a while and then you
Yeah,
forget?
it just comes up.
Or
It just comes up once in
also,
a while. If I see like an epic scene, like
kind of like
let's say for Attack on Titan, the invasion of Marley. I just imagine that same scenario, like he infiltrates and like his old friend, like his old comrade who was pretending to be his friend, and gets revenge on him by setting ablaze to the city. I would just think about things like that, like, oh, that's an interesting story. That's an interesting scene.
yeah. Huh. All right.
Well then, about wraps up on this one and only podcast. I hope your viewers enjoy it. David Berta or
One
Manta, the one and
and
only
name
Arthur.
taken or Felipe.
You got any closing remarks on this first and only episode?
Well, I hope to probably the one person listening to this that you enjoyed, assuming you got this far.
If you just
And
got this far, please email me so I can send you $1 or a quickie.
oh, interesting. We we hope we hope you enjoyed this, and yeah,
Yeah, good luck on your book, and I hope all is well. Uh, yeah,
hope all's well with you.
yep. Goodbye.